Well, thank you, Courtney. We now know how long a Monroe County teen will spend in prison following a deadly 2020 arson that killed her mother and brother.
Yesterday, 18-year-old Candace Walton pleaded guilty to all counts, including charges of malice and felony murder, theft by taking, and first-degree arson. A
judge then sentenced her to life with the possibility of parole. This morning, we're taking a closer look at the day in court yesterday and the fire from nearly 2 years ago.
Around 2:56 a.m. on February 27th, the defendant messaged the boyfriend, Kaleo, saying, "I've done it." She asks for directions to Oregon and then says, "I set it to fire."
Prosecutors say Candace and her boyfriend exchanged more than 80,000 text messages planning the murder.
They discussed how the defendant had been putting a mix of medications in her mother and brother's drinks, and it was making them throw up, but it wasn't killing them. They discussed different options and how she could kill them. At one point, the defendant says poison, knife, gun, or suffocate.
Bud Walton's lawyer told the judge that she was just a child and the case was more complicated than it looked.
There were issues in that house. There were some things going on, some physical abuse by some people that were coming in and out of that house that she dealt with.
Then Walton herself spoke to the judge.
If there was a way to go back and change what I did, I would.
She said she thinks about her mom and brother constantly and asks her family for forgiveness, but her aunt said they want to cut all ties.
Walton's boyfriend faces trial later this year. Well, there's now an arrest warrant out for a Central Georgia sheriff. The Cobb County Police Department issued it as they investigate a reported sexual battery involving Bleckley County Sheriff Chris Cootie. A sergeant with Cobb Police says it happened January 18th at the Renaissance Atlanta Waverly Hotel. That's in Convention Center on Galleria Parkway. After an investigation, the department got an arrest warrant last week for Sheriff Cootie. This case is still under investigation. We don't have any other details right now.
Right now, a former pastor from Milledgeville faces up to 30 years in prison. It comes after he pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl in Uganda while he was there on mission work. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Macon says 44-year-old Eric Taniga pleaded guilty yesterday in federal court to illicit sexual conduct. Prosecutors say it happened in 2019 while Taniga was working in the African nation for a Presbyterian church group. He posted this picture on a blog describing the mission trip. His sentencing is set for May the 3rd. All right, let's talk about some stories happening across the state now. Atlanta police are still looking for the person responsible for the deadly shooting of a nightclub security guard. It happened early yesterday morning at the Encore Hookah Bar and Bistro near the Georgia Aquarium and other tourist attractions. Police say a 28-year-old guard, Tashawn Ross, asked someone to leave the club. That's when the two got into an argument and the person shot the guard. He later died at the hospital. There were at least 2 other shootings at the same bar last year.
The Buckhead cityhood movement is heating up as a group of Atlanta's biggest business owners get involved now. The Atlanta Business Chronicle says the business owners are urging state legislators to postpone the cityhood bill or keep Buckhead's nearly $5 billion commercial district within Atlanta city lines. Just a few of the companies signing on include hotels like the JW Marriott and real estate companies, Cousins Properties and Portman Holdings. The bill that would put the cityhood movement in the hands of voters this year is currently in the Senate Urban Affairs Committee. And supporters of expanding school vouchers in Georgia are renewing their push to increase options. They're pushing 2 bills, including one that could give $6,000 a year to almost anyone as long as their child went to public school for a short time. Earlier this week, the House Education Committee passed a limited version of that proposal, while a subgroup sent the broader measure forward to the full committee. It's unclear whether a House majority would favor either one. Georgia already has programs giving vouchers for special education students and state income tax credits for donors to private scholarship funds.
If you're still waiting to get high-speed internet, your prayers could be answered soon. Yesterday, we told you about how Governor Brian Kemp's recent announcement of more than $400 million in grants to Georgia counties and utilities to provide faster internet. One of them is Washington EMC in Sandersville. They plan to install about 12,000 meters in 5 rural counties. Within the next 2 years, Washington EMC says they expect everyone in their service area to have complete access to the internet. That's around 10 counties.
Well, new uniforms are in the works for Macon-Bibb firefighters. This week, the County Commission approved spending over $200,000 to make that happen. Mayor Lester Miller's resolution shows the new outfits are to ensure safety and comfort of the firefighters while on the job. Commissioners noted the overall outfit design will remain the same, but the new uniforms will be navy blue.
She's fighting for life, and we're just very, very thankful that all of these people and their family, our family, we're all one tonight.
That is Haley Holder's grandfather, Todd Smith. You can see Haley Holder there in the window of the hospital. He says he's thankful for the people who gathered last night outside the Children's Hospital to support Haley Holder. Her and her parents have got to wave to the crowd. We've been following her story for almost 3 years after she got diagnosed with a rare cancer. The cancer came back earlier this year. About
2 weeks ago, she got admitted to the Children's Hospital. What doctors can only say is some kind of infection. Her mom says Haley Holder got moved to the ICU over the weekend after the infection spread into her bloodstream. As doctors work to help Haley Holder, people gathered outside the hospital. You see him there last night to support this awesome little girl with worship songs and prayers.
We could never ever repay the kindness that's been shown to Haley Holder, and but we also want to remember there's a lot of sick kids on the floor, and so we're praying for her, but we're also praying for all these kids and all these parents that are having to go through this.
Certainly keeping her family lifted up in prayer right now. Now, her grandmother says Haley Holder has been dealing with a lot of problems because of her treatment, but she says she doesn't know a bad day and that she is incredibly resilient. And I know, Caitlin, you know a lot about this story, and it's phenomenal to see how resilient this young girl really is.
She really is. I mean, just to see her, even going through her chemo treatments, she always has a smile on her face. And you could tell how much it meant to the family to have so many people out there last night. I actually went out there to that prayer vigil, and when she came to the window, there was not a dry eye in that crowd, just to be able to see her and wave to her. So that was definitely a touching moment. All right.